Hi, sketchy people. I just wanted to show you my studio that I am redoing because we're planning a move to France. And then I want to show you what I've set up in the living room as my mini studio until we get everything ready to move. I'm going to turn you around and show you the bare studio and all the things I still have left to do. So the studio is pretty much empty except my work table, which is full of stuff. But I have to fill a whole bunch of holes. I have to putty them today and get everything filled and ready. And then when all of those holes are filled, then I will get the primer. It's called Kilz, K-I-L-Z, and primer all of the blue on the walls after I fill the holes in those walls as well. And then it'll be ready for paint. Lots of work to do, but my deadline is this weekend and it's Thursday. So I'm gonna get on it today and see how much I can get done. I just wanted to show you my old studio, and I'll lay up a few pictures in here as well so you can see what it looked like full of my things, and now where I've created my new studio and desk. So let's get to that. This is my new office, and it's actually simply tucked into my corner of the living room. Over there is where I film videos when I'm just talking, when I'm just doing talking head videos on my couch with my laptop. And then on this side is where I've created my new little studio office. My entire office is basically in our living room. And I'm not going to pan across the rest of the room because we are still packing to move. I have a selling station. Well, I'll show you. Over on that wall, that's where all of the stuff that we're selling is getting photographed and packaged to ship out. That's the remainder of all of my acrylic paintings. All the rest have been sold. This is my office now until we are able to refinish all of the rooms. That's the outside of my studio, and get back and pack everything up and move to France. So I will be mobile for a while because I'll be running around and sketching and teaching as we are on the way, getting ourselves to France via probably visiting family in Florida and establishing an address in Florida. We're in North Carolina now because we have most of our family are now in Florida. So anyway, I wanted to show you how I've set up my little desk. I used to primarily paint in acrylics or pastels, chalk pastels. I still do both, but I've packed my acrylics away for now because I just don't have the space. So I'm going to turn this around and show you how I've set up and organized my new little office studio space. You don't need to see my face the whole time, right? Okay, so this is just my favorite Jean-Baptiste CD. So I just don't know where to put it, and I love it, so it's right there. And this is just a little panel that I thought would be fun to use markers on of a pour painting I did, and I began a little dragon on it. This is an old laptop, and I use this as my reference laptop. This is where I look for references or historical references and stuff like that, or things to draw. There's all my Sharpie markers, so I can keep a to-do list right there next to me on a giant Post-it pad. And because I need to be able to see it and cross things off or I won't stay motivated. These little cases are very convenient. This one holds my watercolor palettes. I have another new watercolor palette down below that I haven't tested yet, so it's not tucked in there yet. And a permanent ink that I recently bought because when I do pen and ink sketches, I want it to be permanent so that my watercolors don't smear it. I've recently had that issue, picking up the wrong pen. This other one doesn't hold a lot yet, but it will be holding more watercolor supplies. These are all my big, beautiful mop brushes and some other watercolor brushes and stuff like that. But those just conveniently sit right there until I'm ready to pull my watercolors to play with them. Down here are just some frames and a little desk easel in case I decide to do something in an upright position on my desk, and some frames and an Arches watercolor card that I haven't used. This bag is my favorite little hippie bag. I love it. Right now I'm keeping extra pastel pencils and colored pencils in there that did not come in a pretty case or package. So let's look at how my office space is set up since I've gone from a very large, like 400 square foot space to this little, maybe 5 cubic feet, maybe 6. space. So right here, this watercolor pad will eventually go up with these others, but this is one that I have not used yet. I'm getting ready to test it because I'm getting ready to offer an urban sketching class at a local pen store. And this is a company that is out of Raleigh, North Carolina, which is very close to where we are. I'm testing to see if this is the kit I want to use. I don't want to get a hold of them until I know that I really like their product, so I haven't tried it yet. I'm positive that one thing I do not like about this kit, it does have a decent little watercolor brush in there, but this is where you carry the water, and I'm not sure I like that. I would probably transfer out and use one of those synthetic brushes that has the water in the handle, but we'll see. So that's just that. And with that out of the way, from here, this little book to the left are all of my watercolor and sketch pads, except for this one, which I got out to do a lesson the other day. And this is just a nice thick paper pad, but it doesn't take water well. If you use a lot on it, it starts to warp. So this is mostly for markers, pens, and pencil work. So I use that sketch when I'm teaching something of that nature. This is a new product I've gotten that I'm getting ready to test, which is why it's still out, and it's a masking fluid for watercolor paper to use, and it has a very nice fine point on it, so I don't have to use a brush, but if I want to, there's a brush in there. So I'm going to be giving that a try. Up here is just a little touch LED lamp for when I'm drawing down here. That way I have light directly on my paper. I had a problem with that when I did this lesson because I draw with my left hand usually, so the light's facing the correct way not to cast a shadow on my paper. But I was doing an exercise where I was drawing with my non-dominant hand, so it casts a big shadow, so I had to move my lamp for this last lesson. Check it out. It was the video before this. I have to-do lists and journals sitting right here, right next to where I sit as well, so that I can jot things down as I think of them. And face cream and hand cream, because your hands get really dried out, especially when you use pastels or lots of dry products. Now this little bin I keep out over here most of the time because it has all of my pens in it. Cotton swabs for blending, erasers, permanent inks, all of that stuff. I should probably move that other permanent ink over into here since my pens are all in this tub, and I think I will do that. I have little wet wipes here. I have a loose ruler, even though I have this pad here that has measurement rulers on it that go up to 18 inches on one side and 12 on the other. And let's go back here. So I've got all my sketchbooks here, including these two little teeny tiny ones that my hubby got me because they're fun. And then from here over is all of my other books. I'm French for reading. I'm learning to, read French, trying to get fluent. There's a book called The ADHD Advantage, which I have read but keep as a reference sometimes because I have ADHD, and sometimes it's nice to reference back and realize that I have a superpower because of my ADHD. I'm not damaged. And neither are you if you've been diagnosed. This little Wonka book is just another little journal where I keep track of shows or just fun stuff. This, my little sloth journal, is actually, I use it mostly for a weight and exercise guide and measurement, so I can keep track of whether I'm gaining or losing and how quickly. This is notes because I've worked in mental health and stuff for a long time and education. And I've been getting coaching certifications because I've done these things for a long time, even though I'm not a therapist. I'm a coach. So I'm learning some business stuff. I've taken an art therapy course and gotten a certification. This is more notes for my different work. And this is my favorite book right now, The Book of Alchemy. It's by Sulika Jaud. She's a wonderful author, but she's also a journaler, a longtime journaler, and this book is completely full of essays by other writers and people who journal and people who draw and sketch and write, and they're all very inspirational, and I love them, and sometimes they give me ideas of what to do, like prompts. Down here are all the things I still need to sort through. I'm a notebook person, even though I write too many things in too many notebooks, and I need to have one subject by subject. This is just a waterproof case that I'm going to start putting my France paperwork in, so we have it all in one spot. This is a tiny little blower. It's not electric. I can actually charge it and it's battery charged. And so it can blow, like if I'm trying to dry off painting a watercolor quickly so that I can add another color, then this little bad boy is fast and dries things quickly. This whole stack is all of my pencils, except for the extras that didn't come in a case. I've got my Faber-Castell Polychromos color pencils down there. I've got my Carbothello pastel pencils, my Conte pastel pencils. Then I have some Derwent Inktense pencils, which I love. They're like watercolor pencils, only super bright. And then my regular Derwent watercolor pencil set. They're fun to play with. And then these are just one of my senior high school students, when I left the school and they were graduating, brought me this as a little goodbye gift, a little package of charcoal pencils. And I thought that was really sweet, and I'm keeping them. And then down at the bottom of this are all of my markers, except one case, which I'll show you, that I've just recently got for my birthday. So these are all acrylic markers, and some of those are extra acrylic markers in different shades and Topic down in the side there. And down there, in that tracing paper, which is at the very bottom, I have all of my flat paper pieces that I've done for so long, being protected in there, and some pastel paper I'm protecting in there. And then I have a watercolor pad and a big one, and then a couple Clairefontaine pastel matte pads, and some other stuff that just isn't fitting anywhere else right now. And that little blue case is a case full of little different shapes and sizes of X-Acto knives, which I love, and blades. And then this other little cabinet here is the rest of my supplies. All my paint brushes are up here, and I have a little palette scraper in here, a little razor blade with extra razors to scrape off of a palette. But all my brushes are in these rolls. And then down here I just have a little extra stuff like pencil leads and loose things that'll probably go somewhere else eventually, but right now they're there. I have some tacky glue. And then back here is a set, an entire case of Artex markers. I'll show you a little swatch that I did of these markers. That was my birthday gift for my husband, and it's ARTXX, I think. But these markers are the best I think I've used so far. They're very opaque, they're awesome, and they can look like acrylic colors very quickly. And then I have a couple more rulers. And then this box is one that my husband made me, so it's coming to France with me. That's my DaVinci Resolve license. I have the pro version, but he made this with me with my art initials. That's how I sign my signature on a lot of things. And he made it in 2020 during the plague when we were locked down. And inside it holds all of my pastel, my pen pastel products and other brushes and stuff that help me get techniques and things in my pastel work. Sponges, all those sorts of things. And this is just a little spray bottle, a mister bottle that I can use to wet paintings if I need to. Then down here are all of my extra cases, like my purses and handbags and crossbody bags and pouches and stuff. So when I travel, I can fill the most appropriate one to take with me. And on the bottom are all the things, office supplies, and there's a camera down there that I'm not sure I know what to do with, a video cam, and, you know, staplers and 3-hole punches and a level and greeting cards and stuff like that. So that's my catch-all office supplies drawer. And then up here, this is the only part of that Rubbermaid that's backist to me that I use, and that is a place to put, it's just enough room to put all of my pan pastels. And if you've never seen or heard of pan pastels being used, take a trip on YouTube and look them up, because they are kind of life-changing when you're doing a detailed pastel piece. So I have a tablet up here. Sometimes I'm just, needs dusting. Sometimes I just use it to watch videos while I'm doing something. But if I'm filming a tutorial or something, I often just leave it off. Or if I'm using a reference photo that is only on my computer or tablet, I can use that to hook up to Wi-Fi and open that photo and draw from there. That's my little station, my drink station. All that stuff. This is my place to draw and place to work. So when you see me doing little lessons, this is often where I will be unless I am outside in the wild. So there is my little office corner, and I was feeling very frazzled because I really didn't have a place anymore since I was tearing up my studio to be creative when I was inside. So I'd either have to go outside and do something out there, and we're in a massive heat wave and drought right now, and that was just, I'm not in the mood to die of a heat stroke while drawing outside. I'm very glad to have this little cubby hole while we are emptying out all the other rooms in our house, including my studio. I needed my creative space. I need to be creative or I get sad and anxious, and so now I have my own little space. That's my little tour of my little mini office and filming station. Behind me is my backyard, which makes for a great view. I will see you soon. Don't forget to hit the like button, please. I'm trying to rebuild my channel after a few years of all kinds of crazy things happening that kept me from it, and I'm trying to get back into the habit of teaching and get back to teaching, which is what I love to do, and to getting things done. I don't look great today because I'm working on a construction of a room. Please hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. I've got a ton of great lessons to come, and even if you feel like you can't draw a stick figure, you will be able to. You'll be a sketch artist in no time. Also, my channel isn't just about art, it's about resketching your entire life. It's about creating those neural pathways in your brain so that you don't lose memory or you don't lose those faculties that you need, and your mental health is improved. All those wonderful things that just getting creative and learning a new skill can do for you, especially you young people. Let this wise older lady help you to keep on top of things and to sketch your own lives so you don't have to spend so much time pleasing everyone else when you can actually have what you want and make enough money doing it. I hope you comment below with anything that you would like to say, and we'll talk to you later.